Welcome to Shaq's house. Shaq's house. That's our Shaq. You're now in Shaq's house.
What's up, Shack Housers? How y'all doing? It's your boy Shack House here. Good to see y'all. Sorry I've kept you for a while now. It's been over a week. I know. I had surgery over a week ago, so it kept me from my God-given duties as a reporter on all things nerds. Well, not all things, but specifically Marvel and The Boys. I know I've been covering The Boys lately, every episode per week, and I am going to do that during this video. But also, what I'm going to do first is cover Thor, Love and Thunder. I finally got around to seeing that this week. And let me tell you, Natalie Portman, who plays Jane Foster in this film, she said in an interview that this is the gayest Marvel movie that they've done. And she's right, but for two reasons. One, because of the inclusivity they have in the film, the representation. And two, because it's borderline campy. Yeah, not even borderline. It's like it takes its cue from the previous Thor film, Thor Ragnarok from 2017. Yeah, which had a very comedic tone, which worked for that film because the previous two films of Thor, the first Thor and then Thor Dark World, they had more of a serious tone despite nuggets of comedy in them. And Ragnarok gave the Thor franchise the kick in the ass it needed. Because before that film, the Thor franchise was my least favorite franchise of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this one right here, yeah, and it doesn't take itself all that seriously, but it's still enough of a worthy entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to be counted. In fact, I rank this film higher than I do Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel, yeah, Carol Danvers. And speaking of Miss Marvel, the Kamala Khan 6-episode series that just finished on Disney Plus, the bangle that she had, that's a negaband? Look it up if you don't know what a negaband is. Anyway, but for Thor, Love and Thunder, yeah, I won't give you too many spoilers, but it starts off with Christian Bale's character, Gore, trying to plead to one of the gods to save his daughter, only to learn that god is not even a god. Just a human that doesn't really give a fuck about him. And then right then and there, he gets the power to kill this guy and becomes a pathological iconoclast. Yeah, going around killing every god that he could encounter. Yeah, all because it's disproportionate retribution, but like I said, he's a literal iconoclast, a pathological iconoclast at that. Promises that all gods will die, and we see something in his visions that doesn't turn out to be an Easter egg, but turns out to be a major plot point. What was that? The cosmic deity Eternity. Yeah, they show Eternity in this film, but he's more like a genie in the film. You know what I mean? He's more like a genie in the film, and they, at least by his inclusion, they open up the door for showing other cosmic entities in the Marvel Universe. Galactus, the Living Tribunal, a real version of him at that, and not just a statue, or the personification of death that Thanos is so in love with. What else? Yeah, the director of Thor, Love and Thunder, Taika Waititi, must really be a big fan of Guns N' Roses, because 4 Guns N' Roses songs were used in this film. And I know Guns N' Roses, especially Axl Rose, is very happy. I mean, this is a huge payday from Disney for them. And in New Asgard, they show a lot of kids there now. And New Asgard itself on Earth is more like a tourist amusement park. And it's even complete with Matt Damon reprising his role as like an Asgardian Norse stage performer, reenacting events that were in the previous Thor films. What else? There is even, and going along with the Guns N' Roses songs in the film, there's even a black kid in New Asgard sporting a Guns N' Roses shirt. I mean, much like how Stranger Things reinvigorated interest in Kate Bush, this will reinvigorate public interest in Guns N' Roses as well, too, I think. Christian Bale, Chris Hemsworth, seeing them in the film as Gore against Thor, and that rhymes. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, he should do more comedy films. He's good with that, although he's no slouch in drama. Just look at him in Rush. And Christian Bale coming over to the Marvel side. Welcome over to Marvel, Christian Bale. You were Batman long enough. Yeah, Christian Bale as Gore. I think he went full method actor in this role too, because the scene where he kidnaps all the kids and starts scaring them with a story, I think he was really trying to scare them to elicit a real reaction out of them, going along with his whole method acting approach to his profession. One of the cool things they did in the film that they alluded to in the trailer was, what was it? Showing the other mythological gods in the Marvel Universe. Not just the Norse gods, but they show the Greek gods like Zeus, the Aztec gods, the, what else? What other gods they show? The Hindu gods as well, too. I'm like, this is good. This is good. I mean, not just keeping it relegated to just the Norse gods. I mean, I knew they were all out there. And for the next Thor film, and yes, there will be another Thor film, they may incorporate them as well too. Natalie Portman as Jane Foster and getting the power of Thor. That stems from this right here. Yeah. This what if issue right here, or what if Jane Foster found the hammer of Thor. Got this graded. I might just sell it eventually. Or now, considering Thor's still out. But that whole premise in the film stems from that issue right there. Yeah, Jane Foster, it turns out she's dying of cancer, and she figures if she gets the power of Thor, she can get better. It works to a point. Other people that reprise their roles in the film. Tessa Thompson comes back as Valkyrie, and she is King. Yeah, emphasis on King of Asgard. Yeah, Kat Dennings is back as well, too. And she really racks it up. And also, Jamie Alexander, she came back as Lady Sif, but just for 2 scenes. It's like, put some respect on her name. I mean, she's the fucking goddess of war. I mean, why don't you keep her back in here, dude? It's an insult. It's an insult to keep her out of the film or keep her relegated to that small of an extent. I mean, y'all treating her like James Marsden when he played Cyclops in the 3rd X-Men film. I mean, Cyclops is the first X-Men, and look how y'all did him in the 3rd X-Men film. Put some respect on their names. Anywho. What's it called? I'm not going to talk about what we saw in the mid-credit scene or even the post-credit scenes of the film as well, too. I will say this, though. Thor Ragnarok, the 3 previous Thor films were better. I mean, yeah, this Thor film right here, your kids are going to love it. Parents, they'll appreciate how lighthearted the tone is for their kids. But if you're adult fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you'll be like, it's all right. And now, let's talk about The Boys. The Season 3 finale, the instant white-hot wild. Yeah, what happens in this episode, Homelander, he goes to see his son Ryan, who's in Grace Mallory's custody, and he convinces Ryan that he's not mad at him over what happened last season when he accidentally killed his mother and maimed Stormfront, and he convinces the boy to leave with him. I mean, Ryan's pretty vulnerable, needs a father figure after rejecting Butcher, and Homelander, infantile man-child that he is, he needs a family. He wants a family, especially with the knowledge that Soldier Boy is technically his father. And there are protesters outside of VOT headquarters right now. One side is pro-Starlight, the other is pro-Homelander, and they look like stand-ins for Donald Trump supporters. Yeah, Queen Maeve, it turns out she's actually being detained there after being subdued by Black Noir. After she was subdued by Black Noir episodes back. Meanwhile, Soldier Boy, the Butcher, and Huey, they still plan to go over to VOT to attack and kill Homelander. And meanwhile, Queen Maeve, she escapes from custody. Back at Eminem's apartment, Frenchie, he brings some Novichok, the gas that's supposed to kill Soldier Boy. He brings it to Eminem, who, by the way, I just noticed wears a hip-hop shirt every episode of The Boys, and this time he's wearing a Snoop Dogg shirt. Yeah, but Eminem, he's not as enthused about the Novichok to kill Soldier Boy like he wants to. He's agonizing over the fact that he lost his temper in front of his daughter. Right, he lost his temper in front of his daughter when he punched out her white stepdad, Todd, who, As you'll see at the end of this episode, he kind of deserved it. Yeah. The Deep, I'm gonna get rid of this motherfucker. The Deep, he is useless. The Deep and Ashley, they tell Homelander that Queen Maeve escaped from the tower, but right when they think Homelander's about to lose his shit, that's when Black Noir comes in and pretty much saves their asses. I'm like, thank God for that. What else happens? Yeah, Black Noir, he still has the hallucinations, those animated hallucinations of Buster Beaver going on in his head. And back at the boys' safe house, actually not at the safe house, at a gas station, the Butcher, he knocks out Huey and locks him in a bathroom at the gas station while he and Soldier Boy take off. Yeah, presumably to save him from the effects of Temp V, which he didn't tell him about, by the way. A-Train, this dude is a snitch, and he seeks Homelander's acceptance. He's a sellout. Yeah, I don't know if I said this before, but I'll say it again. He reminds me of those two brothers from In Living Color, the ones that Keenan Ivory and Damon Wayans would play, the parody of the Smothers Brothers. Tom and Tom, the brothers, those two Uncle Toms that don't know they're black. That's what A-Train kind of reminds me of. And his whole arc is trying to redeem himself this whole season, but he's going about it selfishly. Even his brother, who's now confined to a wheelchair, his brother Nate, he doesn't want shit to do with him. Yeah, Nate knows that he killed Blue Hawk, yeah, and considers his brother a selfish sellout. After Huey comes to at the gas station, Starlight, she picks him up, and she reveals to him what Butcher wouldn't tell him about Temp V, that it's deadly. But all Huey sees is that Butcher did him a favor by knocking him out. And after a story about his dad, about pizza rolls during middle school and whatnot, Huey apologizes to Starlight, who relishes in the fact that she gets to say, "I told you so, I told you so." They go to Eminem's apartment where they find Queen Maeve, who likes to throw a gay dig at Huey, talking about he looks like an asshole waiting to get fucked or something like that. Yeah, she thanks Starlight for her Instagram campaign that outed Homelander, and that helped to get her out, and that helped get her free. Meanwhile, Frenchie does some coke in the bathroom, and Kamiko, she chews him out for it. Silently chews him out for it with her sign language. Yeah. Meanwhile, Starlight, she tries to tell Vought security to get everyone the fuck out of the building, get all them out, but to no avail. Nobody wants to listen to her. Soldier Boy's coming to kill them, and nobody wants to listen. I'm like, he's not coming to kill everybody in there, just Homelander, but he's a dangerous motherfucker. He'll go nuclear without a care in the world. And meanwhile, Soldier Boy conveys a story to the Butcher about how his own father saw him as a disappointment, even after he went to Vought and got superpowers for himself. Meanwhile, the Butcher tellingly ignores a call from Grace Mallory, and he reminds Soldier Boy that Homelander is not his son. He's just a homegrown replacement, which is why Soldier Boy was left to die with the Russians. And Black Noir, he's prepping for Soldier Boy, and he reveals that he knew that Soldier Boy is Homelander's father, which prompts Homelander to impulsively kill him. The rest of the boys, Mother's Milk, Starlight, and etc., they go to the Butcher's safe house to try to stop him. While Queen Maeve then and there has something of a heel turn, right? She turns against her group, gets rid of the Novichok, and goes with Soldier Boy and Butcher to stop Homelander while locking the rest of the group in a safe. And they turn off all the lights too so that Starlight can't use her powers. Meanwhile, back at Vought, the Deep, A-Train, and Ashley, they listen to Starlight's message about getting everybody out the building, but Homelander, he hears it too and dismisses it, along with insulting them. And he lays the biggest insult on Ashley, asking her to take off her wig, and reveals a hair of kind of like Jada Pinkett Smith. Only Ashley, she's impulsively pulling out her hair out of stress. She's pulling her hair out of stress-related moments and whatnot, and that's what's left of it right then and there. It's a humiliation tactic used by the Homelander. I'm like, he is a bully. He is a real bully. That's partly why I relish whenever he gets his ass beat or somebody can make him bleed or bruise him. The Deep, he's still kissing Homelander's ass, and Homelander tells him, you can help me by doing this. An act that the Deep considers treasonous. What's he want him to do? Kill the vice presidential nominee, Lamar Bishop. Meanwhile, back at the safe house, the remaining boys escape from the safe and load up to get the Vought. Homelander, he's watching old videos of Soldier Boy when right on cue, speak of the devil, Soldier Boy, the Queen Maeve, and Butcher, they walk in. Homelander tries to appeal to his father and even goes so far as to bring out his grandson, Ryan. But much to Butcher's shock, and Soldier Boy, he dismisses both of them, right? Dismisses both of them as weak. And that's when the battle starts. Ryan, he lasers Soldier Boy. Ryan lasers Soldier Boy, right? Who then knocks him unconscious against a wall. And that prompts the Butcher and Homelander to fight Soldier Boy. Homelander wants to tend to his son, but Queen Maeve, all she wants is a piece of the Homelander, and she gets it. Yeah, they have a fist fight where fucking Homelander, he gouges out Queen Maeve's eye. And that's the image you see for the featured image of this video. A gouged out eye for Queen Maeve. And their fight mirrors Soldier Boy and the Butcher's fight right outside. And right on cue, Starlight and Eminem, they arrive. Meanwhile, Frenchie and Kamiko, they go to the lab to make more Novichok, while Kamiko, she kills the guards to the tune of Maniac, Michael Sembello's Maniac from Flashdance. She's a maniac, maniac. Yeah, that's my best rendition of it, but anywho. What happens next is this. Huey, well, not Huey. Eminem, he finally gets, he finally gets some digs on Soldier Boy after Huey destroys Soldier Boy's shield. Talking about, yeah, fuck your shield, bitch. And with only Starlight left standing, Huey, he's watching everything through a monitor. And he's the one that actually evacuates the whole building. Right? He gets in an intercom and evacuates the whole building. Yeah, he decides to turn on all the lights in the building in the room where Starlight's in the full capacity to help her fully power up to stop Soldier Boy. And the build-up is more powerful than the result itself. It's like, what the hell was this? That was nothing. Because he's still standing. And even after they all grab him to put the Novichok on him after Kamiko and Frenchie get back in the room, what happens there is that barely hadn't affected him either. Motherfucker is still going nuclear. So Queen Maeve, with only one good eye, she grabs him and thrusts them both out of the window and pretty much sacrifices herself so he can explode. He does. Outside, but still damages part of Vought's headquarters. Meanwhile, Ryan, he comes to and decides to side with his father, Homelander, and wants to leave with him. And they do, much to Butcher's, and Butcher looks sad as fuck, like someone just ran over his dog. After they leave, Butcher, his nose bleeds, and he passes out from the Temp V. And when he wakes up in a hospital watching a Vought-produced eulogy of Queen Maeve, the doctor tells him that he has like a year to a year and a half left to live. So he just lights up a cigarette nonchalantly right then and there, like, thank you, Doc. You may kindly fuck off. Eminem, he goes to his daughter, Janine, and explains to her Soldier Boy's history in killing their family members. And she warmly tells her daddy that he's her hero. Aw, so sweet. Meanwhile, Starlight goes to visit Queen Maeve, who's powerless, still injured, and with her girlfriend Elena, and they decide to take off together now that everybody thinks that she's dead. Next, we get a montage of set to the tune of Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. We see the Vought has the footage of the boys saving Queen Maeve after Soldier Boy's explosion, but Ashley decides to delete it. Grace Mallory oversees Soldier Boy being put back in suspended animation again. And the Deep, his ex-girlfriend Cassandra goes on a talk show with a tell-all book about him and does not paint him in a good light, which makes him sad. I'm like, fuck the Deep, fake-ass Aquaman. He's a bitch. Meanwhile, back at the boys' safe house, Starlight, she disposes of her costume, and they try to make the group a democracy, saying, fuck Butcher, we don't need him as part of the group. And right on cue, he's right there, sipping a Slurpee. When he walks in the room, the TV, it shows footage of Lamar Bishop the vice presidential nominee. It shows footage of him news about his death. Yeah, news about his death. And what happens next? He's now being replaced by Victoria Newman. That was Homelander's plan all along. They get a superpower person in the White House. And the Butcher's all like, okay, we got to take this bitch out now. Meanwhile, the Homelander goes to a rally for him. These all look like parallels for Donald Trump supporters, right? And he introduces Ryan to the crowd, who flies down there now and showing like more control over his powers. A pro-Starlight supporter throws like a canned soda at Ryan, and what happens is the Homelander instinctively lasers him. Janine's father, Todd, is at that event, and he cheers on Homelander for it, and so does the rest of the crowd, much to Homelander's surprise. And Ryan, he sees this and starts smiling. Gets like a really creepy smile on his face, much like that kid from Brightburn. Yeah, if you ever saw Brightburn from 2016, I want to say, that's about that evil Superboy. See that. It was a real good film. This was actually the season 3 finale for The Boys. Yeah, the season was better than I thought. Yeah, the way it started off, especially with Termite and in the first episode, yeah, that really set the tone for the season. Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, yeah, he's funny. Yeah, I think he ad-libbed a lot of his lines, like when Huey said, "Maybe you should cut back on all that weed. Maybe you should gargle my ball sack." and the correlation that the show creators and writers showed of Homelanders, fans, and Trump supporters, they really nailed it with that. I want to know what Congresswoman Newman's daughter, after she injected her with Compound V, I want to know what her daughter is turning into, or what kind of power she got after her mother gave her that chemical. The finale, yeah, where you can see Ryan just like smiling after his father just killed somebody. That shows a lot of how twisted society is becoming now too. And A-Train, yeah, like I said before, he's a sellout, and he's not only that, he gets pimped out and hoed by Homelander at every turn. Yeah, just like how Black Noir was getting hoed by Soldier Boy in those flashback scenes. Like they don't do black superpower people all that much justice. They make them sellouts and eager to please. For the next season, though, yeah, Victoria Newman's pretty much going to be the big bad villain in this. Yeah, she's becoming more corrupt, and Stan Edgar, he's going to come back as well too. They gotta bring him back. And speaking of Edgar, he called Homelander a disappointment, just like Soldier Boy called him a disappointment. Yeah, the whole father-son thing and them seeking their dad's approval, that seemed to be a big theme in this season as well too. And I think it'll spill over to next season as well. Yeah, it was a hell of a ride. The Boys, Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, so now I can get back to my regular Marvel shit now. I don't gotta be like reporting on the TV shows now until She-Hulk comes out. But yeah, I hope y'all have a good week, Shackhousers. You take care. It's gonna be a sunny, beautiful day today. Later.
Mansion, apartment.
Shack house. Yes!
Yeah.